Hello, welcome to Health Matters. I'm Sherri Gallant with Alberta Health Services, and today we're going to talk about summertime safety with Andrea Klassen, who's a health promotion facilitator here at Community Health at the train station in Lethbridge. The weather is beautiful, the season has begun,
Yes.
People are out enjoying it, so let's talk about how they can stay safe. Let's start with maybe biking. A lot of people are out on their bikes.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot more people out on bikes right now because the weather is getting nice. We want to ensure that everyone knows that they should be wearing a helmet. It is the law under the age of 18 to be wearing a helmet. However, be a good role model as a parent and put that helmet on and make sure it's fitting properly.
Okay, and let's say you're on your bike and you're going to go over to the playground. What about some playground safety tips?
So some playground safety tips are ensuring that you're watching your kids, making sure that you're within a couple meters of them. Always kind of keep them within your sight. Ensure that they're not on anything that is over 5 feet tall. If they're on something that's over 5 feet tall, they can potentially fall off, hit their head, and be injured that way. So it's kind of important to always be around, play with them, be interactive, and make sure that you're there with them. You also want to make sure that they're wearing shoes when they're on these playgrounds. You're never sure if there's going to be glass anywhere, if there's going to be twigs, cuts, scrapes, that type of thing. However, if you're riding over there, you want to make sure that they're not wearing their helmet on the playground.
Oh.
They can get caught with their helmet, so the straps of their helmet can get caught on certain things on the playground, and you don't want them to get caught up and be a choking hazard because they have that helmet on.
Okay.
So just ensure that you want to make sure that that helmet's fitting properly when you get there, but take it off and make sure that they're not getting caught on anything on the playground.
Good advice. Well, and then so when we get a nice weekend, maybe we're going to be out in the sun, sunbathing or gardening or whatever, but we're outdoors. So how do we stay safe in the summer sun?
For sure. As we know, it's going to get really warm in the next few weeks. So we want to ensure that if we're going to be out in the sun, that we're putting on at least an SPF 30, 20 minutes before we head out into the sun. And we want to make sure that we're seeking shade and staying hydrated while we're out in the sun. It can get pretty warm. Your body can become dehydrated quite quickly. And if the UV index is above 6, you need to come inside. That's usually between 11 a.m., 4 p.m. It can get really hot, and especially kids can get dehydrated really quickly. So just ensure that you're watching that, ensuring that they're staying hydrated, and you come inside if it does get too warm.
Okay, I have a couple questions about the sunscreen. If I've heard that you need to put it on while you're indoors a little while before you go out. Is that true?
Usually just to let it set in, yes. I would say put it on 20 minutes before, let it get into your skin, and then head outside before you get that exposure so that it is ready for use.
And is there, if it's hot and maybe you're a little sweaty, is there kind of a rule of thumb of how often you need to reapply?
It really depends on the type of sunscreen, so just check what their application is, depending if you're in the water, out of the water, if you're sweating, they'll tell you whether they want you to continually reapply and when you should reapply.
So read your labels.
Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe if you've been out in the sun and you want to cool off, you're going to jump in the lake or a pool or something. What about water safety?
Yeah, water safety is pretty broad. You could be boating, you could be going in the rivers, water, lakes, ponds, anything. You could be going camping. So we want to ensure that kids are safe when they're in the water. If they're under the age of 5, usually they don't understand the dangers of water, so they're more likely to go check it out, go see what's going on with the water. If they're over the age of 5, between 5 and 14, they kind of take more risks. So they think they're better swimmers than they are. They want to, do fun things with their friends, and they might not be as good a swimmer as they really are. Mm-hmm. So they need to be watched that way. Another big thing is if you're going to the splash parks or going to any wading pools, kids can drown in as little as 1 inch of water. So if they trip and fall in the wading pools, in splash parks, anything like that, they could potentially drown if you're not watching them. So keep an eye on them, make sure you know where they are, and ensure if you are going in deeper water, even water where kids aren't strong enough swimmers, they need to be wearing life jackets.
Okay. Such great advice to keep people safe this summer. Thank you very much, Andrea.
You're welcome.
And thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching.